What are the pros talking about when they talk about slamming a crankbait? Good morning, guys and girls. September 21st, September 21, Matthew 5:6. They are blessed who hunger and thirst after justice, for they will be satisfied. They are blessed who hunger and thirst after justice, for they will be satisfied. You know, when I read the word blessed in the Bible, I always try to read it both ways. They are blessed who hunger and thirst, or they are blessed. I guess that's exactly the same thing. Depends on how you pronounce the word, but it could have a couple different meanings there. Let's see what I wrote about that, because that's they are blessed who hunger and thirst after justice, or they are blessed who hunger and thirst after justice. Either way, they will be satisfied. It might be impossible to satisfy a largemouth bass. They can eat so much that they keep on feeding even when their bellies are bulging. Thank goodness they don't have to be hungry to strike a lure. How many times have you ever caught a bass? And I look down a bass's throat every single time, because many times you look down and you'll see a tail sticking out, or you'll see some crawfish pinchers sticking out. And you can tell by doing that a lot of times what the bass is feeding on. It's amazing to me sometimes you see a big old bluegill tail sticking out. And you know the bluegill's like the size of your hand. That bass is just eating that, and yet he just struck your lure. I mean, it's just amazing. And those bass guys are kind of like you and me. They're just, when they get full, they keep eating. They keep eating. You know, those big bass are females, though. No, I'm not even going to say anything about that at all. I'm not going there. You know, I'm not going there. But we like those big, fat female bass that just will eat and eat and eat. That's exactly what we like. All righty. Being satisfied is something that we all want. We desire to be satisfied with our families, our marriages, our jobs, our friends, our church, but complete satisfaction comes only from God. Remember that right there. That's probably the most important thing in this entire devotion. Complete satisfaction comes only from God. All else will leave us empty and wanting more. You know, right now I'm writing that new Daily Devotional book. I'm up to about 115, 117 devotions right now, and working on it night and day, you know, not even having time to answer all the comments on both of our YouTube channels. But I'm working on that thing, and I worked on a verse that said that a man's desires and hell and destruction are never satisfied. Both are insatiable. I think that was in Psalms. That's not exactly what it says, but anyway, it made me think a little bit. Man's desires are never insatiable. I always wonder when I see these athletes turn down a $20 million a year contract to sign a $25 million a year contract. And I thought, what more can you do with $25 million that you can't do with $20 million? But it's that way. We have people in this country that make $25 million a month. We have people that make $25 an hour. We have people that make $5 an hour. We have people like me that do a lot of work, sometimes don't make anybody at all for it. But it is amazing. You know, I've got a jillion fishing lures, and yet I still buy more. I still want more fishing lures, and I can never use all of what I've got. Man's wants are insatiable. God knows that. God somehow put that in here for us, but his want is insatiable. But pure satisfaction, complete satisfaction, comes only from God. All else leaves us empty and wanting more. God's rule, this is good, God's rule is that our desire must be to do what is right, and he will satisfy us because of that desire. So if we have a desire to do what is right, and maybe that extra $5 million that one of those pro athletes makes, maybe if he does what is right with that $5 million, God says that's good. God says that's good. He will satisfy us because of that desire. Does this mean he'll give us everything we think we need? I don't think so. It does mean that he can enable us to be satisfied with whatever we have. There's the key right there. Paul, one time in the Bible, talked about, I have learned to be satisfied no matter what. I'm satisfied when I'm in prison. I'm satisfied when I'm walking free. I'm satisfied when I'm full. I'm satisfied when I'm hungry. That's the key. And God can enable us to be satisfied with whatever we have. I don't care who you are. You're probably very happy with where you are in your life, but you want more. There's something out there you'd like to be able to have. There's people that can buy everything in the world. They can buy everything that's for sale, and yet they're still not satisfied. That's a sad, sad state of affair. And God says, though, that if our desire is to do what is right, He will satisfy us because of that desire. Let's look at our tip here we got this week. A high-speed reel will allow you to slam a crankbait into underwater cover. Will allow you to slam a crankbait into underwater cover. Now, what are we talking about? Slamming a crankbait into underwater cover. We're not talking about just bumping a stump. We're talking about running that crankbait at a high speed and slamming into that stump. In other words, hitting it, creating a lot of noise, flying off very violently, and that will get a bite. That's what the pros talk about when they talk about I was slamming that bait into things. I was slamming it in the fall, this time of the year. You're probably better off slamming it into rocks. Slam that crankbait into a rock. Rocks kind of seem to be the key to catching fish in the fall. So you got a place to fish where you got some rocks, that's a great technique. Slamming that crankbait into those rocks. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one today. Remember, I love you.